We are at Bear Camp, a naturist campsite in the outback of Queensland, and we've been here for the last couple of days. You could see this in our previous video. And our next destination is also a naturist campground at what looked like basically just around the corner from here. Well, that is what we thought before we came to Australia, and before we realized that the distances here are quite different than what the map tries to make you believe. We are actually looking at quite a decent road trip along the coast of Queensland into New South Wales and hopefully past some nude beaches as well. Are you ready?
I was born ready. We are Nick and Linz. For the last 5 years, we have been traveling to some of the most amazing naturist places on the planet. And now we embarked on an epic journey to experience naturism in every continent of the world. Subscribe and travel along with us. Right now we are in Australia. This video has been sponsored by the Australian Naturist Federation. They are our main resource for information about naturism in Australia and a great place for Australian naturists to connect and share advice. The road is long, our time is limited, our van is slow, and there's chance of flooding. But hey, we're not complaining. Road trip, baby!
The moment we realized that distances in Australia are much further than they seem, we did make some changes to our itinerary, so we actually have a couple of days to get to our next resort. Today we hope to get past Brisbane and hopefully into Byron Bay. Other than the distances, driving in Australia also doesn't seem to go that fast because they are missing the concept of highways like we have them in Europe. Elevated highways that have entrances and exits. Whereas here it's mostly like freeways that we can drive fast in between towns, but you have to go through towns. There are traffic lights, there are railroads to pass by, and you always have to slow down. You always have to change speeds, change gears. And that's something you like a lot, don't you?
I do, it's fun!
And then of course there's also Dorothy. She's doing a good job, but she's not the kind of van that you can drive hundreds and hundreds of kilometers in one time. You have to stop from time to time. She's not that comfortable. Dorothy does have a CD player though. I don't think we had it in our previous van. If only we had thought about bringing CDs. No takeaway coffee.
No takeaway.
We've been trying to score a coffee, but today is public holiday and no luck. Luckily, there are always brands that we can trust. I'm really not a big fan of McDonald's coffee, but they leave us no choice here. Coffee is absolutely horrible. Bad decision. In Belgium we have a saying that goes, I can read my newspaper through my coffee, which means that it's not such good coffee. And they also put sugar in it, which I don't like. So, yeah, but I'm drinking it anyway because even bad coffee is coffee. And I just want to complain a little bit about it. They're trying to keep us longer in Queensland, but it's not gonna work. We have to go to New South Wales. Queensland, 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 New South Wales! We just got 1 hour older just by crossing the border between Queensland and New South Wales. But the good news is that now also nude beaches are legal again. But nude beaches will be for tomorrow. It's getting a little bit late for that. Let's find ourselves a campsite. This place couldn't look more different than where we left this morning. The landscape is completely different. It's also a hip camp, but it's not one where we are allowed to be naked, although I think it's spacious enough that few people would see us and few people would care.
And to be honest, I really don't care. I'm just so happy that we are finally out of Doherty, that we can sit down, relax, and enjoy this.
I know, instant coffee. Australia will not get in the books of the best coffee. We only got here yesterday and I already wish that we could stay longer in this area. There's a map in the bathroom that shows all these points of interest and they all look very nice, but we will have to be very picky because time is not on our side. And of course there are 2 nude beaches in the Byron Bay area and they have absolute priority. Our first stop for today is at Niagara Clothing Optional Beach. That's like Niagara but with a T. Maybe that's for copyright reasons or to make sure that people know that they are at a clothing optional beach in Australia and not at a waterfall in Canada. But they are making it very clear that, yeah, it's clothing optional, but there are quite some rules. For example, this car park where we are parked is definitely not clothing optional. If you get naked here, that's a $500 fine. And then there's a huge sign saying where the clothing optional area is exactly. It is an 800-meter stretch, which is more than the nude beaches in Sydney, I think. This is an interesting concept when you think about it. There is a clothing optional area right in the center of the beach. Why is not the whole beach clothing optional? You know, it's clothing optional, so if you don't want to get naked, you can still be there. And if you don't want to see naked people, they're gonna be right next to you, and there are like a million other beaches in Australia, so why would you come here? It does make a lot of sense. So now the clothing optional area is that way, obviously where all the people are. I dare to say that this is the most beautiful nude beach we found so far in Australia. But of course the nude beaches in Victoria might have been more beautiful if it wasn't raining the whole time. And when it comes to the crowd, it's very average. I think half are couples, half are singles. It's one guy in the dunes looking at everybody. It's like couldn't get more standard than this. We've been to quite a lot of nude beaches in the last months and I'm starting to feel like a nude beach reviewer. It's because it's, yeah, you can't really show everything, so I have to tell you about some of the aspects of nude beaches. And it's also because we started making nude beach guides on our other channel on Destination Clothes Free, which seem to be quite popular. So there you also get an overview of the beaches we visit. But I hope you enjoy this. I hope you like to hear and see a little bit of what nude beaches around the world look like and feel like. This beach is a particularly easy one to film though, because it's very wide. There are not so many people. There are probably more than 50 people, but just because it's so wide, it's a lot easier to film than some of the other beaches that are smaller. This wouldn't be an actual review if I didn't give you an update of the water, how the water is like. Luckily, I have an assistant for this. This is ridiculous. I'm just ankle deep and my feet are freezing.
The water temperature is perfect. It is a little bit rough and there is a lot of undercurrent, but it is perfect.
Now the question is, who do you believe? Let us know in the comments.
I wonder if these guys know where they just landed on. That's funny.
This makes arriving at the nude beach in a van feel a little bit lame when you see this. There are clouds coming from over the sea, so let's move on. From what we heard, Byron Bay is one of those love it or hate it places. This used to be a hippie village, but then it turned into a posh village. And some people prefer the old Byron Bay and some like the new. We were hoping to come here to have lunch, but the place is absolutely packed. There's no parking space whatsoever. There are people everywhere. So, could be that we will never know whether we love it or hate it. That we will just leave Byron Bay and have lunch somewhere else. Yeah, no Byron Bay for us today. We've driven through it, it looks cool, but way too many people. Of course, this is the high season. This is the highest of high season today, so maybe it's better when there's fewer people, but we're gonna find another place for lunch. Suffolk Park will have to do. It's right next to Byron Bay, so can't be that much different. Busy. It's not really the idyllic seaside lunch that we had in mind, but at least it's typical Australian lunch, or breakfast, or dinner. I think Aussies eat pie every time of the day. Here is another example of how busy the area is today. There is a queue for the parking for an unofficial nude beach. Are we gonna stay here?
I suppose I am. The thing is, it's hard to tell, and honestly, I don't think that the beach will be nude, just because of the amount of people. But it's consumption. I don't know.
Do you mean an assumption or consumption?
Oh, sorry, an assumption. See, it's already pissing me off.
These are the things you do for YouTube. On a beautiful sunny day, you sit in the car and wait for a parking spot. Or the things you do to go to a nude beach. Other people are standing here as well. They don't have a YouTube channel, I think. It didn't make much sense to keep waiting. There are still 3 cars waiting in front of us. And it's not the kind of weather when many people will return in the middle of the afternoon, I think. So we found another solution. We found another car park about 1 kilometer from the beach. And now we walk.
New plan, we walk. Way better than staying in the car. And maybe if we're lucky, we will encounter some wildlife. How cool would that be?
The cars that were waiting in front of us are gone. Maybe they left or maybe they found a place, I don't know. Maybe it was a bad idea to not wait, but at least we got here. It was a 10-minute walk.
We had our exercise, so.
And now another 10-minute walk down. So now the big question is, will it be worth the effort? The effort of parking further, walking the whole way and now the walk to the beach? Or should we just have saved ourselves from all this hassle? The thing is, it's always worth it because at least we will know. And that's the most important. And you will know as well. You're very welcome. Yep, already worth it. And we're not even on the beach yet.
This is beautiful.
Today is the official Visit a Beautiful Nude Beach Day. The clothing optional setting is totally different than on the other beach. Here the sides are with naked people and in the middle are the clothed people. Which makes a little bit more sense, but still, yeah. Beach is enough. I wouldn't hold the beach be clothing optional. By the way, the clothed and naked sections are not enforced on this beach. Mostly because this is not an official nude beach, but seen from the number of naked people, it's quite well-known unofficial nude beach. And we even get some shade.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask ourselves one more question. Is this safe to be this close to nature and sitting here? Because we are still in Australia, right? And everything is still trying to kill us. What do you think?
And another aspect is sitting next to the rocks. This might be the pee-pee spot.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna try.
Yeah, here. Smells okay. And the thing...
build rocks here.
Yeah. We can sit here. Like on the border. Yes, let's do that.
So, quick review. Beautiful, beautiful beach, really spacious. We found this spot where we are all alone so we can vlog perfectly. Well, at least for about 10 seconds, then somebody placed themselves pretty much right next to us, but that's understandable. We are in the shade, there's not so much shade here. So yes, really beautiful beach. It's quite male dominant, quite a young audience as well. There are some women, but it's definitely much more male. But yeah, very much worth a hike, even if you have to park on the other parking lot. And then for the sea test, how is the water at Kings Beach?
Perfect.
It actually does feel a little bit hotter here. Maybe it's because it's later in the day, but still not swim water. I think we can speak of a very successful nude beach day today, and after all, maybe it was for the better that we didn't stop in Byron Bay, because time really flies by. It's almost evening and we still have to go find our hip camp. This is gonna be home for tonight. Tomorrow we're going to Coffs Harbour. I'm not really sure yet what we're gonna do there. It was a tip we got a number of times, but we'll figure it out by then. Hi, this is Nick and Linz from the future. When we were editing this video this afternoon, we noticed that it was getting a little bit long. This video is getting a little bit long. So we decided to cut this video in two. What you just watched was the first half, and the second half will be published uniquely on Patreon.
Woohoo!
No, I'm just messing with you. It's gonna be published next week on YouTube. But that doesn't take away that any support on Patreon is very much appreciated. That's how we can keep making videos. And so next week you will see us go to more nude beaches. We will have the best fish and chips ever. And we're gonna end up at Twin Falls.
Yes.
So if you don't want to miss that,
make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you want to see it earlier, go over to our Patreon. And we just see you next week.
bye.
We drove like 50 hours or something. No.
It didn't.
And it's not just the effort